Alrighty, it's Misha here, and it's time to talk about the Danube class Runabout, as seen once in Next Generation, once in Voyager, and the better part of 100 times in Deep Space Nine. This was the main vessel used on Deep Space Nine before the Defiant was stationed there. But even after the Defiant, the Runabout was still utilized. And what this is kind of interesting. It's not exactly a full starship, but it's not really a shuttle either. The Runabout, the Danube class, was first introduced in 2368 and was preceded in a lot of ways by the Peregrine class, also known as the Federation Fighter, which was a fast light courier and later fighter. This was about 25 meters. The Runabout itself was just a teensy hair over 23. This is technically its own starship. It's not a shuttle as such because it has an NCC number and a name, USS, for example, Rio Grande or Orinoco. All of them we saw on screen, I believe, were named after major rivers on Earth. On the other hand, this wasn't really meant to operate independently. Runabouts were stationed on board ships such as the Galaxy class, and of course stations such as Deep Space Nine, and one can assume star bases and outposts and planets and other things. Typically, Deep Space Nine had 3 assigned, although many were destroyed or abandoned or otherwise lost over the years. We know of at least 10 that were done this way, so as many as 16 were stationed at Deep Space Nine over the years, with a large number being destroyed. So what about specs? Well, we're capable of about warp 5, give or take. We can comfortably accommodate a crew of 4, including sleeping compartment. The cockpit has 2 main positions, sometimes 3. And then the back, we have a lounge area, which can be used for conferences or dining or storage. Then we have this module on top, which is optional. Some will have it, some do not. Kind of like the module on the Nebula class. Phasers are standard. Photon torpedoes aren't always standard, but are an easy upgrade or option. Funnily enough, this has a small Jeffries tube for maintenance inside. And hatches. It has a replicator, a transporter. It's a little starship. It's capable of relatively independent operations for an extended period, considered a medium-range ship. and was quite successful. Like I said, even after the Defiant, these were still used as essentially long-range shuttles and transports. While it had a comfortable crew of 4, it could hold up to 40 people for a brief period, for like emergency evacuation or rescue. So, reasonably good internal volume. And that brings me to the other ship I brought out. This is in the shuttles video I published a bit ago. This is the Type 11 shuttle, as seen in Nemesis. This is on board the Sovereign class, which came out a few years after the Danube. And essentially this is a sleeker, slightly scaled down Runabout. It's about 16 meters, a little less independent. Excuse me. But shows that the basic concept was solid and appreciated. And it used a similar internal setup. And that's about it. You know, anyone who's seen Deep Space Nine sees the Runabout quite a bit. I brought out the large Defiant because it scales reasonably well. This is still a bit oversized compared with, but it gives you a decent idea. As far as the Eagle Moss model, I knew what the Runabout looked like, so no super surprises here. I do like that they did the one with the module. Most models I've held don't have it. It's mostly polymer. It's got some metal on the top here. It's a little lighter than I expected, but it's also quite big. So, I would have liked it if it was a little more metal. But I'm not disappointed either. Like I said, it's about the smallest starship as such. That's why it's kind of classified in its own thing as a runabout. Somewhere between a shuttle and a starship. A true one. Alrighty, folks. That's about it. There's a lot out there on these, so I don't want to bore you too much, but wanted to do a video on it for completeness' sake. Any questions or comments, I'll welcome them below. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. And check back next time for more rambling videos. This is Misha. I'll catch you then.